If a 20-year-old simply sets up a program that takes $95 a month out of their checking account and puts it into their financial freedom plan, they will have contributed by the time they got to 65, 51,000.
Okay.
It'll be worth $1,004,000. So it's not, people think I can never become a millionaire because they think they have to save $1 million. No, there's the money, because of compound interest and doubles, grows. And what is it? If the median decade of the 20s, if all a person did was put 10% of their income, they would have $1.5 million by the time they were 65. And all they did was contributed in their 20s.
You're listening to the Rich State of Mind Show, the podcast made to make you the total package in the entrepreneurial world and give you what we call a rich state of mind. If you are here looking to learn about real estate investing, marketing, elevating your business, and developing your mindset to get to the next level, then you are at the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join our community on richstateofmind.com. Now here's your host, Anthony Ritchie.
Hey Howard, thanks for taking the time this evening. You're on the East Coast right now. I know you're traveling the country.
Right, I'm in Naples, Florida right now.
Naples, Florida. So you're on the East Coast. So evening for you and evening for me. So if you could please just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, basically at this point in my life, I have a home in Boca Raton, Florida. That's my home base. But I have a big RV and I travel the country and I go into small towns. I meet people. I talk about what I'm doing, and a lot of people just they love what I'm doing because I've put a course together that teaches people how to become multi-millionaires sometime in the future with a normal job. But I've been on the road for 3 months. And I'm just out talking to people, meeting people. I play pickleball. I don't know if you know what pickleball is, but it's the fastest growing sport in the country. And every city you go into, there's 20 to 100 people playing, and you become really good friends with them. So I'm a lot older than you are. I worked my butt off a lot in my life, and I did certain things, and because I did them, I'm a multi-millionaire. I don't have to work. I'm able to do what I want, when I want, and how I want. And it is amazing. It is so amazing when you finally get to the point where you're no longer working to survive and you're no longer working to put food on the table. You're at the point where the money's coming in every month to pay all your bills, and it allows you to do whatever you want to do. So, I've owned quite a few businesses, but I'm where I am today because of what my dad taught me when I was in my teens. And I didn't start until my late 30s. And I am where I am today because of my dad, and because I just had a plan that constantly worked every month for 30 years. And that's what I teach, actually.
So I got a couple questions about that. What made you start at your late 30s? What was the turning point for you?
Okay. And that's a great question. My dad told me when I was in my teens, he said, son, this is what I do, and this is what you need to do. What you're going to start working now. And what I want you to do is I want you to save 10% of everything you earn. And I says, okay, Dad, whatever. Okay, yeah, I'll save 10%. But I was a teenager and I didn't listen to him. And I knew I wanted to be successful sometime later on in life. So I was building businesses. I was a guy who I built quite a few businesses, and my standard of living in my first business was at 28. My standard of living kept going up. I went from 50,000 a year to 100,000 a year to 200,000 a year to 300,000 a year. That's what I was earning in my businesses. But in my late 30s, my wife was saying, honey, we got to start saving some money. I was spending everything that I earned because as I was making more money, I buy a house on the water, or, I was just buying everything that I wanted. And in my late 30s, I agreed with my wife. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, I need to start listening to my dad. So I didn't start listening to my dad until in my late 30s. And then I started a program real similar to his. And that program built to millions of dollars 35 years later. So that's how I got there.
And so what about, anybody that builds themselves up to that amount of money or net worth, they fixed a problem and you provided a service. What do you find special about your service that you provide to people that attracted so many people to you to where you've been able to be so successful in this?
Well, first of all, I'm the real deal. I've done it. I'm proof. My dad's proof. I'm not doing this to make $1 million. You know how much I have a 7-module course on internet. I charge $97. I don't charge $1,000. I don't charge I charge $97. And the reason I charge $97, anybody who wants it can afford that if they have a job, because they're spending that a month, a lot of them, on Starbucks coffee. Okay, so basically, if the question was reframed a little bit, is why do people take my course over others? I really believe I'm the only course that when people are finished with my course, their financial freedom plan is set up and running on an autopilot. And just to let you know how into this I am, is there's a link on my membership page that when people get to module 4 and 5, where they start actually putting their financial freedom plan together, if they have trouble, all they got to do is click on a link and schedule a Zoom meeting with me, and they have me live. So I will actually hold their hand, and I don't charge any more money for that. I just want to get them started. So basically, the reason I didn't start to my late 30s is because all my dad did was give me words. He was a tool and die worker. He was a factory worker. All he knew is what he was doing, but he just said, son, you got to save 10%. I was a spreadsheet geek in running my businesses. I was the guy, I was great at spreadsheets. So 2 years ago, I sold one of my companies and I was kind of bored. So I was going to put together a PowerPoint presentation for at the time they were 16 and 17 years old. I got a 16-year-old daughter and she's 18 now and my son's 20. And so I put this beautiful PowerPoint presentation because I wanted to show them how to become a millionaire. And I was really proud of this presentation. And so I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to your friends and tell them that your dad is going to teach them how to become a millionaire. And so 10 kids show up in my living room and I do my first presentation on a big screen TV. And it blew me away how excited I got these kids. But what blew me away more than anything is they didn't know, they hadn't learned any of this in high school. I really believe that we in America, a capitalistic society, should be taught exactly what we need to do to become financially free with a normal job. I really believe that. So that kind of opened my eyes like, wow. And so then I had so much fun with the kids. I went to all my sister's kids and I started doing Zoom meetings. I'd have 10, 20 people in my class on Zoom, and it was fun. And they were loving it. And then I went to ex-employees, and then all of a sudden it was like, it came out of nowhere. And it was, oh my God, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. I want to teach people how to become financially free with a normal job. Now, if they want to own their own business, that's wonderful, okay? Because it'll do it on hyperdrive. But they don't need to own their own business to one day be able to do what the heck they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it. So I really believe the big difference with me is when they are done with my 8-module course, their financial freedom plan is set up and running on autopilot. And, you know, another thing I do in the course is I teach people how to find $200 to $500 a month that they could automatically put into their financial freedom plan that we would set up in class. So it's fun. I'm just having a lot of fun. And, you know, there's nothing more exciting when a student does do the link, and then I'll get on the phone and all of a sudden, well, you know, it's not rocket science what I'm doing, and it's all automatic. What we're simply doing is we're deciding, okay, we're going to take $50 a month out of your checking account, or 100 or 500, whatever the student decide. And we're going to go over here. It's going to go into a brokerage account, and we are going to invest it into index funds that average 10%. And the reason we do that is at 10%, money doubles every 7.5 years. So that's why I say over a course of 30, 35 years, we're going to be able to take that little bit of money that they contributed, and we're going to be able to multiply it by, you know, keep doubling it. So, and it's amazing. Just let me give you a quick, let me see if I have this yet. If a 25-year-old, I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
If a 20-year-old simply sets up a program that takes $95 a month out of their checking account and puts it into their financial freedom plan, they will have contributed, by the time they got to 65, $51,000.
Okay.
It'll be worth $1,004,000. So it's not, you know, people think I can never become a millionaire because they think they have to save $1 million. No. There's the money, because of compound interest and doubles, grows. And what is it? If the median decade of the 20s, if all a person did was put 10% of their income, they would have $1.5 million by the time they were 65. And all they did was contributed in their 20s. So, and, you know, I go through all this in the course, but it's exciting stuff, because I'm telling you, 78% of the people in our country are living paycheck to paycheck. And the only reason, just like, remember I said in my 20s and 30s, I was making a ton of money and spending it all. If I would have started in my teens, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, hindsight's always 20/20. If you so I know you're big on financial freedom. What does somebody need to learn about financial literacy in order to make sure they get or achieve financial freedom?
The first thing they need to learn is how to manage the money that comes into the household. Okay. They need to really know where their money's going. And that's chapter 1 with me, budgeting. I have a 1-page budget I came up with, and they need to understand that. Well, let me give you an example. Most college kids love Starbucks, and not just college kids. I mean, Starbucks is one of the most successful companies in the country. These college kids, and I'm just using them as an example, but it could be anybody. They're spending $5 every day, every time they go into Starbucks. Then they don't think about it, but that's $25 a week, $100 a month. And so what I'm going to now do is show people, if they look at this money a little differently, I'll show them how to become financially free. So what my proposition to this person is, I don't want to take your Starbucks away, but I only want you to go twice a week. And then I want to set up, and I'm going to help you do it, $50 a month is going to come out of your checkbook and go into your financial freedom plan. Now you have that money because you were giving it to Starbucks, by the way. That's 2 cups of coffee a week. That will equal $113,000 in 30 years, that $50 a month. And now let's take it another level, because this is financial literacy. Car payments, probably one of the biggest destroyers of financial freedom in the future. Let me give you an example. There's a ton of people that are paying $650 a month for their car. There are those people that they want to drive these fancy cars. They might be in sales, whatever. So they're trying to look success. They're faking it. Okay. They're trying to look successful. So here's my proposition. Now, this is big, and this is called financial literacy. I want you to sell that $650 a month car. And I want you to buy another car. It can be new, but I only want you to pay $325 a month. So that $650 a month you were giving to the bank, you're only going to give them $325 now. And we're going to take the other $325 out of your checking account. And this is all automatic. It's set up one time. And it's going to go into your financial freedom fund. That $325 in 30 years will be worth $740,000. So, and these are the things I go through in the class. So 2 cups of coffee and a better car payment will give them almost $900,000 in 30 years, because it's in a plan that is doubling their money every 7.2 years. And so now we got to look at it like a guy 30 years old. You have 30, let's say, I'm going to say 65, because 65 is the old 55. I'm telling you. So let's say you have from 30 to 65, that's 35 years. How many doubles do you have in you? You have 5. Because if your money's going to double at 10% every 7.2 years, you have approximately 5 doubles. So let's say you have $10,000 in this fund. In 7 years, that $10,000 will be $20,000. Okay. The next 7 years, it'll be $40,000. The next 7 years, it'll be $80,000. The next 7 years, it'll be $160,000. The next 7 years, it'll be worth $320,000. Then $640,000. Then over $1 million. That's the power of compounding. And that's called financial literacy. And people need to understand, you don't want to put your money in the bank account. You want to put your emergency fund in the bank account, but you want to put your money in a vehicle that averages 10%. Now, really, in the big picture, I know you're a real estate guy. So do I. I have real estate too. But I didn't start buying real estate until I accumulated enough money. I didn't want all my money in index funds or in the stock market. So I started buying real estate. I have some Walgreens properties. I have some self-storage. So it allows you, once you've been able to accumulate money, it allows you to do other things. So it's all about financial literacy, and it's not hard. And the problem is people think it's hard. So I've dummied it down and I've made it easy. So
I do want to actually touch on a couple of things you just said. So it sounds like to me, because you earlier in this episode you talked about finding $500. I think that's how you mentioned that's how you found it, by ciphering a
Correct.
little bit out of that coffee and then lowering your
Correct.
car payment. And then there you
Correct.
go. That was about about $500 a month.
Right.
That person was able to find in the income that they were already spending, or money that they were already spending. So that's good.
It's
You,
yeah,
you're not.
makeup's the same thing. Women
Yeah.
are spending average per month on makeup $313 a month.
Oh wow.
If they cut that down and invest 25% of it, that's another, in 30 years they'll have almost $200,000. By the way, men spend $240 to $4 a month on average for skincare products.
I'm about to say on makeup. No, it's playing.
Skincare products.
All right.
But
Well,
anyways,
I did not know that. I didn't know that men. Well, I guess that's kind of a good thing that we are being better with our, hygiene or skincare. But $200 and something.
$244 a month.
Yeah, that is a lot. And then the other thing you mentioned about it's hard to people. I think people find it hard because they look at where they're at now, and then they look at being a millionaire and how that is such a far journey. You talk about, oh, I got to stay consistent like that for 30 years. I could barely stay consistent for a month to stick to my budget.
That's why it needs to be set up to automatically work. And you start out with $50 if that's the issue. You don't know how many students have said to me, there's no way I can live on 90%. There's no way I can not spend that 10%. And I say, bullshit. Sorry for swearing, but that's bull, because within 6 months, they won't miss that money.
No.
And they'll see it growing, I've
spent $3,000 and I like, what did I spend that on? And looking back,
well, and another big buster is Amazon today.
Yeah, that is
we
crap.
buy so
Amazon.
It's so easy.
Yeah,
it's so easy. You get bored. What do?
I have somebody in particular that I'm always seeing an Amazon package at my door with her name on it. So
yeah,
it can be quite I mean, it's very convenient, very convenient. I mean, pretty much almost everything you need is up there. I've even been able to find ATM machines I could buy up there if I wanted. So Jeff Bezos has definitely figured it out how to really extract the consumerism out of us.
Absolutely.
And so we talked about, I mentioned about the journey, somebody taking that journey, taking those small baby steps, like what you mentioned, to finally become that millionaire. And you said that, they could do it with a regular job. Why do you feel like you have to emphasize on that? Do you think the perspective is now that the only people that are millionaires are people that are business men and women?
Yeah, one time, I'm telling you, in my teens, 20s, and 30s, I thought you absolutely had to own a business to become a millionaire. But it's not the case. The way somebody becomes a millionaire is to have a consistent $100 a month, $50 a month, $50, $500 a month, whatever, going over here. And over time, they could become a millionaire. And my dad did it. He never made more than $35,000 a year. He's a factory worker. Yeah. He has $3 million. It has grown to $3 million that he has in his financial freedom plan that pays him $85,000 a year. And he hasn't worked in 40 years. My dad's 96 now, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, it's, again, if you want to own a business, it's hard. We all know that. But if you're successful, wonderful. But the reason why I keep emphasizing a normal job, because most people don't want to own their own business. They just want to work and make a good living, and it's evident. Most people are employees of a business.
Yes,
most people, sure. So I want to show those people If they don't want to own a business, I'll show you how to become a millionaire, have 2 million. I'll show you the numbers. I'll show you exactly how much you need to retire at certain lifestyles in that account, because it'll throw off so much money every month. And if the person owns their own business, I'll show them how to put it on hyperdrive. So
So I got a question for you then. So on my way, with my budgeting and on my way to building up, amassing this amount of money to become a millionaire, what is your budget breakdown? I know there's some examples out there where it's 70% of your money should go towards your expenses, while 20 goes towards debt and 10% goes towards savings. What is kind of a budget breakdown that you have for people?
I don't break it down that way. I just like your housing costs with insurance shouldn't be over 28% of your gross income. Your car payment shouldn't be over 10% of your gross income. And if it is, I'm going to show them how that let's say the car payment is 15% of your gross income.
Mm-hmm.
That 5% could be going into your financial freedom plan. Let's say your house payment with insurance is 40% or 35%. That's 7% that could be going into your financial freedom plan. So when I do budgeting, what I want people to see is I want them to see how much money they're really spending. Okay. And then I'm going to teach them how to massage it. I don't get into and I looked at some of your stuff and I like what you're doing, where you have your 30% here or whatever. But I just want them to see it. And then what I want them to see is, okay, here's the lifestyle. And this is how much is left at the end of the month. And it might be a negative number.
Yeah, for sure.
So then what you got to do is let's start massaging it. And we do this right in class. Okay, instead of having $500 a month in food and entertainment, let's put it to $250. Instead of doing this, okay, did that help? And then it comes to the point, this budget will show you got to go into your boss and you got to tell your boss, look, I just did my family budget and I need to make an extra $800 a month. I love my job here. I need a raise. Can I get $800? You know what I mean? So now you're talking from knowledge. You're not like going in and your boss is going to say, well, I'll give you 25 cents an hour. Screw that. You need to know this is the lifestyle you want to live with, everything over here and how much you want to spend. You have to figure out how to make $1,000 more a month. Now, how are you going to do it? Number one, go and talk to your boss. If he won't give you tell him you're willing to do more responsibilities. If he says no, then what you need to do is start looking for another job that's willing to pay you more, or you need to get a side hustle that makes $1,000 more a month. So that's how I do budgeting. I don't break it down like you do.
What would you recommend for those that, like, hey, I don't like that, just like not having a business. Hey, I don't want to work another job. I'm already tired when I come home, or I don't want a side hustle. What do you recommend? You recommend the downsides in their lifestyle?
Well, that's really the only thing they can do. If they want to one day be able to do what they want, when they want, and how they want, they need to get their shit together. Okay. Remember I said I'm charging $97 for this? I'm charging $97 for this because you have to have skin in the game, first of all.
I like that.
And then you got to be willing to do the little, it's not hard. This is so easy. It's crazy. And this is why I'm so disappointed that our schools and colleges aren't teaching our kids this. It's just, so if you don't want a side hustle, the only thing you can do is cut back, but if you want to live this lifestyle, you need to figure out how to bring more income in. Now, what's the best way to get a raise? The best way to get a raise is always go the extra mile in the job that you're working. Because if you always go the extra mile, your boss is going to see that. Okay. And now when you go in and talk to your boss, you're going in from a position of strength.
Yes.
You're letting him know, I always go the extra mile. I do a lot more than I'm supposed to because I love my job. I'm willing to take on more responsibility, but I need to make an extra $1,000 a month. And I have to. So my family can pay their bill. Now, don't threaten you're going to quit, because he might just say, okay, then I'll see you.
Get out of
Okay.
here.
But use your head and go to Indeed or go to ZipRecruiter and start upping your game. If you're not willing to do a side hustle and you're not willing to cut back a little over here, then you need to get better. You need to become better, and you need to get a better job so that you're working the same amount of hours, but you're making more money. But 78% of the people are living paycheck to paycheck. So in our country, so a lot of people are struggling, and I just want to help as many of them as I can. And I'm telling you, this is not rocket science. It's once it's set up, you feel so good about yourself. And all of a sudden you see your freedom fund growing. It's really exciting. When I get done with people that I do this Zoom with, I'm like, you're done, you're up, you're ready, you're going. And it's like, they're excited, I'm excited. And, it's great when you really know where you're going and you have the plan. And that's what I do.
You remind me of this entrepreneur who he has a Airbnb course, and he could charge 30 grand, which is what he normally charges for his one-on-one, but he decided to only make it $500 with high quality. And like you've just made yours $97 with high quality information. And he said that the reason why I wanted to be cheaper than I could charge is because how can I expect working people that, the average income in America is about 55 grand a year. And those people probably have families to take care of. How can the average person afford a $20,000 investment in order just to make their lives better? Right. But, $97 a month, or one time, which I probably pay that much for my cell phone bill, or like you said, for coffee. I can make that happen and I could change my life. I don't think that so I do believe in a lot of things. You do get what you pay for. The society, capitalism has definitely made that a fact. But the cool thing about what you've been able to do is you have taken that information and it is worth more than $97, but you have the power and the ability and the freedom to make it 97, to bring it back down to where people can make it you've made it low-hanging fruit pretty much. And to give people a chance to be successful in life, to where this is not some secret where only the high society individuals have access to it. This is something that is pretty basic. It's not, like you said, it's not rocket science, and you can be financially free and however you deem fit. That is your freedom. Because I do believe that it is relative. Some people, they shoot for being a multi-millionaire. Some, hey, as long as I got 1.2 million in the bank by the time I'm 65, I'm completely fine. I can live the rest of my days and not have to work, collect my Social Security and be good to go. So I thank you for that. How can people reach you and get this content? I want people to get this information.
It's real simple. Just go to my webpage, howarddekkers.com. My last name is Dekkers. howarddekkers.com. I'm on Instagram, Howard Dekkers. I'm on Facebook, Howard Dekkers. If you go to my webpage, there's a contact tab. If you hit that contact, you can even do a Zoom meeting with me before you take the course to get more information. So I'm not, I love it when people reach out to me. I really do. I'm traveling. I'm a solo traveler. I'm traveling the country, meeting a ton of people. I have a lot of time. I play pickleball every morning for 2 or 3 hours, which is wonderful. I love it. But other than that, like tonight, I went to the ocean and watched the sunset because two of my sisters live here in Naples. And so I'm available. So they can email me, and that's right on the webpage. They can do a Zoom meeting with me. So just go to howarddekkers.com. By the way, I have a free training on there too.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw
Yeah,
that.
they have
That's cool.
I have
Awesome.
I have a half hour free training, just so you can see my style. And I talk a lot about the compounding on that too. So that's going to give them, just that free training can give them some really good information. So
Awesome. And then also, finally, I want to ask you this. What is your rich state of mind? What is your big why as to why you want to provide this type of information and opportunity to people?
I have been extremely fortunate in my life. I had a dad that figured this out. Most of us don't have dads that figured this stuff out. And being retired, okay, or semi-retired, it's wonderful, but it's also boring. Okay. So this is my way of paying it forward of all the good things that happened to me in my life. And I just get so much out of helping people get control of their lives. It's amazing. It's just a real quick story. It's just real quick.
Yeah.
Last night, I went to a place called Blue Martini in Naples. Beautiful. Okay. I sat at the bar. There was a guy sitting next to me that I met. He works for the Catholic Church. He's making hardly no money. He's 39 years old, and he's only going to have a $200 pension when he retires. And he makes like $1,600 a month. He's a priest, believe it or not. And I'm talking to this guy, and he's looking at what I'm doing, and he's going to take my course. And he's not making a whole heck of a lot of money, but I'm also a life coach. And so now I'm talking to him about other things. So I'm not only helping people with finances, but I've had such a blessed life. I just want to pay it forward, man. It's wonderful. I'm not doing this to make another $1 million. I'm not. I'm doing this to help as many people as I can so that they can become financially free someday. So that's my why. It's my way. I just want to give back. That's simple.
And I'm so used to being around people on my normal day-to-day that don't have the luxury and the time to do something like that. I think they're naturally selfish, not in a malicious way, but it's like, hey, I'm just trying to get where I need to get, right? Or make ends meet, right? Versus I like the fact that you're humble enough and you're appreciative enough to where you got in the position you are in life to where now you're going to pay it forward, pay it back. And so I do appreciate that. It's a breath of fresh air. And it's nice to still see that your people are capable of being that way once they get to a certain affluence in life. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you. It really, money makes you more of who you are. It really does. If you're a dick at the beginning, you're a bigger when you got money. And it really, this is fun. I'm having such fun. When I reached out to you, I says, can't wait to have fun on your podcast. This is fun for me. This is not work. This is fun. So
this is cool. Well, Howard, I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate your transparency and how blunt you are too. I think it's going to be, it's inviting for people to feel like, all right, this guy, like you said, the real deal. I don't feel like he's trying to sell me something. I really feel like he's trying to help me. So thank you for that. I think people really will be purchasing and your program, if not at least talking to you to get more information after hearing this episode, man. Seriously.
Sounds good. And one last thing, I'm really impressed with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're 30 years old. I looked at your webpage. You got, you're for 30 years old, you're ahead of me by 10 years, by 10 years. So
Well,
I'm telling you, I'm impressed with what you're doing here. So it's
I
cool
hope to be
stuff.
where you're at in the RV, man. I talked to my wife about that. Definitely want to, once we retire from I retire from the Navy because she'll be retiring before me. Definitely looking at the RV thing and driving around, man. So I
What
look to be
city
where
do you
you're
live
at.
in? What
I'm in,
city do you live in?
I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Virginia Beach. I'll be
Yeah.
getting up there next year. So I'll have to look you up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'll still be here. I'll still be here next year. So yeah, for sure, man. Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you for sticking with us from the start of the episode. Please share our show with friends and family, visit our YouTube channel, and view more of our content on richstateofmind.com. See you next week on the Rich State of Mind Show.